Hey, Jeff Knutson back at you again here from Florida. I got the blue look on again tonight. My daughters tell me I'm saying ah and way too much in these videos, so I'm going to do the best I can to not say that as much as I used to. But anyway, I've done a little rearranging in the tank. The clowns have taken to the anemone, and he is happy as all get out. I did feed him last night, and he looks pretty darn happy. So I went and did something a little crazy, probably a little stupid, but we're going to see what happens. I went to my local fish store tonight and bought another anemone. This is a bubble anemone, and two slightly larger than what I've got in there currently, false percula or percola clownfish, the black ones. And they're pretty sweet looking. However, you're not going to be able to probably see them for a little bit. I'm going to turn the camera off, switch it around like I always do, and show you what's going on here. Be right back at you here in just a minute. Thanks. Okay, so here's the tank. There are my pair of true percola clownfish and their friend the anemone. That is a CB or C-Bay anemone, depending on who you talk to. Anemone, depending on who you talk to. And they're going to snuggle him up good and hopefully stay with him and not try to get involved with the bubble tip anemone that I just bought. As you can see, the brown algae is in bloom. I just scraped off the sides of the glass, and there's nobody that can really tell you how long it's going to last, but it does eventually go away. It's just kind of a pain because you have to keep cleaning it off the glass and etc. But anyway, I am doing a drip again. As you can see, I've got a little siphon drip going. In this bucket is a bubble tip, kind of a green bubble tip anemone. And in there somewhere are two false percola black clowns. They're in there, trust me. The interesting thing about clownfish is that many of them are now tank raised. And in the wild, clowns have a symbiotic relationship with anemones, as it were. And they clean the anemone. The anemone, in turn, protects them because anemones do have a little sting that most fish don't like. In fact, a fish getting tied up with the wrong anemone will end up as fish food for the anemone. So they have a symbiosis that goes on. They swim through him, they live in him. They clean him and feed him somewhat, and in turn he protects them. They get stung, they have a slime coat that the stinging does not bother them. However, when they're tank raised, as the two that I just purchased tonight were, sometimes they never take to an anemone, and they just swim around the tank like any other fish. And in fact, some of them, the anemone apparently even bothers, so they don't get near it. When I left the fish store today, I had the gentleman package in a rather large bag this green bubble tip anemone and the clowns in the same bag. Within seconds, they were inside the anemone, and I'm hoping that they continue the relationship once I get them in the new tank. They've been dripping for about an hour now, so I'm going to give them a little more time, and then I'm going to put them on top of this rock. I'm hoping that the anemone will adhere to this rock. We talked about the foot of an anemone and how they stick to things, and my hopes are bubble tips don't particularly like sand beds, so I've kind of built up the sand bed around this rock in hopes that that will persuade him to stay on that rock. The bad part about anemones is they can move at will. Even after they've stuck themselves, they can release themselves and move around, and they will kill coral. They will sting fish if fish get in their way. So if he decides to take a joy jaunt through my tank tonight, he could kill this lobo right there and pretty much any other coral that gets in his path, let alone perhaps bumping into the other anemone. So what I plan to do is take another flat rock and stick it between this lobo coral that I've got right here, the green and red coral, and that rock, and then I've got my magnetic tank cleaner kind of blocking his route, so he can't go hide in the back corner, which anemones have a tendency to do sometimes. They do sometimes like the corners of tanks. This particular tank has a rounded front corner, so I don't know if he'll go try to adhere to the tank wall or not. I'm hoping he sticks to the rock. But be that as it is, I'm going to let you go for the moment, finish dripping him in and placing him in the tank, and we'll see what happens. Well, we've made the transition to the tank with the green tip bubble. He's kind of leaning up against this rock that I've stuck in there, and I'm hoping he's not going to stick to it, but for the moment I'm kind of stuck. You can see the end of his foot on this side of the rock, so I'm hoping that that's a good sign and that he's going to start sticking right there. That would be perfect. And you can also see a little bit of the opening that is his mouth, and I have a little concern because his mouth is not completely shut, and normally you don't want an anemone to show his teeth, as it were. But as you can also see, the black clowns are not hosting at the moment in this anemone. They were initially. They got out and decided to go exploring, which they are still doing at the moment, checking out the tank. They did try to throw their weight around with the true percolas and their friend, the CB anemone. I'm going to say that word right one of these days. And that was not a smart move. Big, strong things come in very small orange and black packages, and the female grabbed the black perk by the tail and pulled him or her into the anemone, and was probably going to make anemone food out of the bigger black percola. So you can see they're checking each other out. The orange and black percolas, the true perks, have been patrolling, and there haven't been any harassing moments other than the first few minutes they were in the tank. I'm hoping that as the night progresses that the black clowns will eventually host in the green bubble tip, and that'll be that. If they don't and they continue to swim around and just mind their own business, that's fine too. As I said, there haven't been too many confrontations, and as you can see, the orange, black, and white percolas are just, the clowns are just pretty much in their own little world down there. So, the other concern I have, and I don't know if this is a possibility or not, but percola fish are able to change sex, and if you see a tank full of clownfish, they are all male except the largest one in the tank, which is a female. And conceivably, if they don't stay paired up, and I don't know why they wouldn't, it could be that I'd end up with one female clown and 3 males. Highly unlikely, seeing as how they're not exactly the same species, but I do know that there are people that crossbreed clownfish, and I suppose that is a possibility. But anyway, at this moment, everybody seems to be happy. The tank's looking good. I'm hoping that my friend, the new bubble tip anemone, will stick to that rock underneath him rather than the rock on the side. Then I do have an issue, and you know, make that his home, and that would be just perfect. They're kind of on opposite ends of the tank, and that would be a good thing. I certainly don't want him getting loose and rolling over any coral. As I may have mentioned earlier, anemones can sting and kill just about anything in the tank, and they aren't very heavy, so one good swim through the tank, hitting 3 or 4 corals, and he could do some serious damage. And I don't know what would happen if he and the CB anemone bumped heads either. So let's hope that doesn't happen. You can see that the true percola orange and black and white clowns are keeping the black clowns at a distance from their friend, and that will probably continue. So anyway, we'll check back tomorrow and we'll see how the hosting is coming along and how the sticking of the new anemone is going with the rock. But for now, we're going to call it a night and check back with me again tomorrow. Check back often. I'm going to continue this little video upload blog until you guys get bored and quit watching. So thanks for watching. I've had over 600 views, and I hope it continues.